Hey everyone, my name's Corey and welcome to Calamari and Condors. I'm a filmmaker for those of you who don't know me, and I started making films when I was 11 years old through a technique called stop motion animation. And the way that I learned how to do stop motion animation was through films like King Kong, Nightmare Before Christmas, and of course Jurassic Park, which is my favorite film. And I first learned how to use these type of techniques through watching a documentary that was on the Jurassic Park special edition DVDs back in the day. There was a whole documentary that broke down the entire process of how they made Jurassic Park, and one of the things that they talked about in that film, in that documentary, was how they were originally going to use stop motion animation to bring the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park to life. And as a kid, I always loved films, but I had no idea how they were made. But this broke down everything for me, and it really was informative, and it was really creatively invigorating. It was something that I had never experienced. There was this swell of energy and excitement that I had of being able to take all the things that I had in my head, all of the imagination that I had built up as a kid playing with my toys, and now I could bring stories to life through this medium. So in the documentary, they talked about how stop motion animation works. And from there, I was off to the races. I grabbed my parents' mini DV camcorder. For those of you who don't know what a mini DV is, it's a little cassette tape that you would stick into the camcorder or the camera, and you would basically film that way. And the way I would edit is I would have to rewind back and record over the things I had done wrong and try to do the take all over again and try to make things line up the way that they should. So, needless to say, nowadays it's a whole lot easier to make stories like the ones I was making as a kid and the ones that I continue to make as an adult. So, with that being said, I know that right now there's a lot of tension going on, there's a lot of uncertainty going on in the world, and a lot of people are having to stay at home. There's a lot of kids that are having to stay at home, and adults as well. And really, more than ever, this is a time where we need to still have outlets to address our stress and anxieties. And the only way that I know how to do that is through creativity, through art. And for me, it has always worked in the past, and it's always given back to me. It's always really helped me get through all sorts of situations. And I think that it can do the same for you watching at home. So, with that being said, we're not going to focus on anything grim moving throughout the rest of this video. We are going to focus on creativity and inspiration. So today in this video, I'm going to show you guys how you at home can start making your own stop motion short films with just a camera, an iPhone camera in particular. You can also use an Android phone for this particular app that I'm going to show you how to use. But for me, I have a bunch of Apple products. So if you do have an Apple phone or you have an iPhone sitting around or an iPad, you should be able to do all the things I'm going to show you on that, and you're going to be able to do all of this for free. So this is something that, again, that kids, teens, adults will be able to utilize and have fun and express their creativity. So with that being said, let me show you guys my setup here, and let me show you some of the things that I've learned as far as being creative with the tools that you have and working with those tools to bring your stories to life. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the App Store or Google Play Store and download the Stop Motion Studio app for free. So go ahead and download that app right now onto your device. Once you've done that, here's what we're going to need for today's video. So we're going to have our iPhone here, which is going to act as our camera, and the app is already installed on it. So we're going to go ahead and click New Movie, which is where the plus sign is. All right, and now we're going to move over to our object today that we're going to be animating. Now this can be any kind of object, but today I've chosen to use a Godzilla NECA figure. NECA makes some awesome Godzilla figures and they're highly posable, so that's why I've decided to use him today in this video. Should look awesome once we're done animating him. Next, we have some other items here, and these other items are going to be used to stabilize your camera. So the first item we have an option here, which is a little dolly that my brother made for me out of Legos. But then I also have a foam block here that I've made that I can slide my camera straight into, and it'll keep it still and steady while I animate. So let's move on to how I'm going to set this up. So first, we're going to place our foam block here, and we're going to stick our phone into the block. Again, you don't need to use a foam block to stabilize your camera. It can be anything. Anything is going to keep your camera upright and not moving so that you can animate your character perfectly. Next, we're going to go ahead and shift our camera around here to the position we want. In this case, since I'm using a green screen, it doesn't really matter where I'm setting up. And then we're going to get our figure here. Let's move Godzilla into the frame. And yeah, I want to do a close-up shot here so that we can get a dynamic looking pose, something that looks really ominous and intimidating. I think that should work just fine. All right. So this is what the app should look like once you've opened it up and clicked New Movie. And we're going to go over here to the top right of the screen and tap the camera. And now the camera is fully on, and here are all your options when you're in camera mode. So you can tap on any part of the screen, and that's the part of the screen that's going to be focused on. So if you wanted to focus more on the background, you can tap on the background. But in this case, we want to focus on the character himself. Next, we have this slider down here for options. You can change, white balance and all sorts of other color options. But right here, I'm going to show you the mode that it's in. Right here, we want to go to auto mode. This is for your focus. This is so that your character, your object is going to stay in focus the entire time that you're animating, so you don't have to worry about things, looking blurry as you're doing this. Next, over here, we have a slider, and the slider right here shows you what the last frame you took looks like and how it lines up with the one you're about to take. This is really helpful in case you're, wondering if you're moving your character too much and it's going to look choppy. So right here is the timer setting. The timer is really important. We definitely want to use the timer today. So you're going to click on the timer, and we're going to scroll over to 15 seconds. This means that you have 15 seconds to animate your character and move him to the pose you want to move him to. The reason why we're going to use this is so that you don't move the camera and have it so that the camera and the character is all shaky and things just don't line up properly. So you want to keep the camera as still as possible, and let's make sure our character is in focus. And let's click record and let's get animating. So when it comes to stop motion animation, the biggest thing you want to pay attention to is you want small movements, which are going to lead to your character coming to life in a way that's more realistic. So what does that mean? So every time that the timer goes off and takes a picture, we're going to move our character just slightly. We're going to move him just a couple inches, not barely even inches, a couple centimeters. And the reason why we're doing that is because as you take a picture, like the app just did there, and we move him a little more, each picture shows the movement of the character himself, because film is just a series of pictures. Video is just a series of pictures going really, really fast. That's the easiest way to remember this. So you're basically just taking this inanimate object that would otherwise be standing still, and you're bringing him to life this way. So again, inch by inch, we're going to make this character come to life. So I want to make him look a little intimidating. I want him to look at the camera. I want him to raise his head up. So again, inch by inch, I'm moving the camera. Excuse me, not the camera, the character. Don't move the camera. Definitely don't want to move the camera. We're moving the character inch by inch to make him come to life. So I'm going to speed up the video here, show you guys everything that I've done to make him come to life. So I'm going to open his mouth here, give a really cool looking roar. He's looking at the camera here. And it's all about just bringing your imagination, what you see in your mind, to life. Think about how you want the character to move and what do you want him to look like. Now, another thing to notice here is in the bottom right corner, you can see it says 30, 31. These are the frames that I've taken. These are the pictures I've taken. So it's taken me quite a while to do this. And it's always, you should always be patient when doing stop motion. It's not something that takes, a short amount of time. This is something that takes quite a while to do. But look at that. We go and press play, and man, that looks awesome. Especially for something that was done in such a short period of time. Now, if you also notice down here, it says 1 second. So we've done 31 pictures, 31 frames, and we've gotten 1 second. Well, you can change the speed and the amount of frames per second over here on the bottom left. And this right here is the slider that lets you change it. So right now it's at 17 frames per second. If I want to, I can move it over here to 13 or 14 frames. Let's see what 12 frames looks like. Now again, this is gonna make it slower. So there's 2 seconds now worth of footage, but look how choppy and slow he is. He kind of looks lethargic. Yeah, we don't want him looking like that. We want him to look menacing. We want him to look terrifying because he's Godzilla, king of the monsters. Let's move him back over to 17 frames per second. I think that looked really cool. Yeah, that just looks a little more realistic to me. You know, and again, his movements aren't super fast. You know, they still have that weight and momentum to them. But again, you know, it's going to take a while to get, you know, minutes of footage here. We're just talking minutes, not even hours, but minutes of footage here of, you know, a character and story. But if you want to, you can also change each individual frame that you've taken. If you want to, you can delete stuff. The delete option's over here on the right. You can also go over to this section here and copy and paste the image that you've chosen. So if you want to make more images of the same thing, you can do that. You can pause it. There's a lot of different options here. But again, be patient when making your stop motion animation here, because it does take a while, but it's so worth it. It's so cool to see things come to life. So you see there, I backed out of the program here and I've hold down on the video that I've wanted to select. And then I go up to the share option and I click export movie. And then from there, I'm gonna scroll down to save video. I'll tap that. And now it's being sent to my photos in my phone. And look at that, it's over here in my photo section. So now I can watch it. I can share my video, and yeah, it's really cool. Now I can share it with the whole entire world. And with that, you guys are officially filmmakers now. Congratulations on creating your first video. As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, you've taken your first step into a larger world. I hope you guys had fun making this video today. Be sure to hold on to the video you made because we're gonna use it moving forward through some of the other videos I'm gonna put out there for you. I'm going to put out some videos that are going to focus on creating sound effects for your particular video you created, as well as some green screen effects. We're going to get into using green screen and stuff on apps like iMovie. iMovie is a free app that you can download if you have an iOS device. So go ahead and download that because in the future, we're going to start working and stuff like that. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with people, and I'm gonna leave a link down below to my Venmo account if you would like to support this channel. So any kind of donations would be greatly appreciated supporting this channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.